Hello YouTube, it's part of the run, and I'm back again with another KSP video. So I know it's been a while since Point 22 came out, but on the first day I just messed around with it a bit, and I ended up getting sick the day after it came out, so I couldn't record commentary, although I did play some more, and I ended up doing a bit, and then I was like, you know what, I should be recording this, and this is my first mission to Minmus. So I had already unlocked some of the stuff. I wish I'd gone over the tech tree at the beginning of the video so I could remember exactly, but I got, the first, I want to say I got survivability, I'm pretty sure, and then I went up the rocketry path a bit to get the parts you have. I mean, if you guys know this well enough, you can figure it out. It's not that many things unlocked, because I just went to the moon and returned some stuff. I think I had a total of like 250 science or something like that, so I didn't unlock that many things, and the only new experiment I had was, other than the mystery goo, which you can get pretty easily, is the materials bay, although it does get you a lot of science. And so, and I made sure I got the one with the launch, whatever that's called. I think it's, general rocketry or something like that. I don't know. That might be the second tech. I'm not really sure. Either way, I really don't know. But either way, that's how it turned out. The rocket design was somewhat reminiscent of the larger moon rockets we built back in the day, over a year ago in like point 14, 15, stuff like that, before we had all the 3-meter parts and everything. But of course it is a bit more structurally sound, because actually I don't know why it would be. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely better at building rockets now, so that would change things a bit. But yeah, that's not all that important at this point. The important thing is I had plenty of fuel. It's got like one LV-45 engine and I think like 6 FL 400 tanks, and this is me trying to set up an intercept with Minmus, and I was actually lucky. I got it at the right time to be able to just fly out there and get an intercept. And although I had to do a lot of fiddling and also resetting nodes, because when you go outside to do an EVA report, apparently that deletes your node, which I did not realize. So several times during this recording I had to remake nodes because of that, if I remember correctly, because this was recorded almost a week ago, since I haven't had time to actually do this commentary since I made the video. That's also why no new videos have gone up since I recorded this on like Saturday. It's now Friday, 6 days later. So yeah, but at this point we're just starting our burn here, and you can see I have some of the stabilization fins, so I guess I got that tech too. I'm not sure what else comes with it, but I think it's fins and RCS maybe. Yeah, I think that's what it's in it. I don't think I actually get RCS thrusters though. Not sure about that though, but that's again somewhat irrelevant. So at this point I've started my transfer burn over to Minmus, and you can see it did not exactly work out. So, and then I burned a little bit more, I think, and we got it there, and then I set up this burnout here to kind of get into a better intercept, and I believe this is the first one I actually ended up losing, although I was able to recreate it, and I think I actually was a bit more efficient the time I recreated it, but we will see. And it might have been good if I'd actually cut some of this out, because there are some quite tedious parts of me just doing experiments around Minmus and stuff, but that will also give you more of an insight into what a real sciencey mission is like, because I believe I got a total of 700 science for this mission, so that was pretty good. And that comes from basically just spamming all the science things. And here I kind of freaked out for a little bit, and I can't remember if this is the time I messed it up or not. Yeah, it didn't exactly go according to plan. I did not get a great intercept, so I did have to end up making another one. I'm not really sure how that happened. I think I burned too much though, and somehow just like missed the intercept completely, the original one I had. But I ended up reloading because I had no idea what was going on, and starting over again. So yeah, judge me if you will, but I really don't care much. I reload if I get too frustrated. That's just how I play games, because I don't want to be super frustrated. That's not entertaining. And that is the thing that annoys me about Iron Man mode with Hearts of Iron. God, Hearts of Iron, European Universalis. Although I have not had problems with the YouTube series so far. I have had my personal games, but that is completely off topic. So at this point I set up another node, which is quite similar, but I believe it was a little bit more efficient than I did earlier. And then I just burned through it again. And I think I actually reloaded twice, because one time I ended up crashing the ship on Minmus, but that's later. I'm not really crashing, but I was unable to land it on a flat on a piece of ground and ended up tipping. So here we have our periapsis now under the surface of Minmus, although I believe it's going to get bumped out to like 80 kilometers. It's like, oh no, I moved it. Okay, yeah. But it does get bumped out to I think around 80 kilometers during the sphere of influence change. So that's just an example of those floating point decimals, which are also problematic. As you can see, also important thing is I did have these small batteries unlocked, although no power generation, and I put a bunch of this on there. I think the ship gets like 2560 energy if I remember correctly. Our preview window is not quite large enough to actually make out the text well. I can actually try enlarging it, although the quality does not seem to be increasing. But yeah, it looks like something around 2500. That's what I remember it as being. So I could perform a lot of experiments and transmit them back, which is why I wanted that. And I ended up leaving myself an overly large margin of energy just to make my maneuvers and stuff isn't like turning the ship, since SAS uses energy. But it was probably better than accidentally running out, because that would be a serious problem. But I did have enough to do quite a bit of science, which is how I helped boost my total science to such a high number. And so here I'm just setting up, like I said, I think the paragraph's going out to something like 80, and so I'm setting up my Minmus capture. And I spent a while messing around with this node, and I think this one got deleted too, although it's not that big a deal to make it again, because once again I did an EVA crew report, I believe. And I don't really understand with this the way the whole science efficiency thing works. Like the amount is, there's a science amount, and then there's like an efficiency of what percentage of that you get. And I really don't understand what makes it work that way, because it seems quite inconsistent. As you'll see there, I think with the materials bay, I want to say you get 40%. No, it's 20% with the materials bay, 40% with the mystery goo, I think, and yeah, and then the crew reports are sometimes 100 and sometimes 50. That's part of what I'm unclear about. But what I'm just thinking right now is that it might be that, like, the first time you do crew reports of that type, either EVA or just a normal crew report, or I guess it's an EVA report or a normal crew report. It's the only type of crew report, so an EVA report or a crew report. The first time you do that for a certain body, like the first time you do it in Minmus' sphere of influence, it gets 100%, and then any other time, even if it's in a different part, like low orbit versus high orbit or on the surface, you still only get 50%. That would kind of make sense, because you still won't be learning as much as you did the first time, even if you get closer, at least generally, although, I mean, it's hard to say how much scientific founding for that there is, and, well, that node changed quickly. It's the beauty of Minmus, very low delta V requirements. But as I was saying, to my knowledge, we've not had enough experience with, exploring planets to really know whether or not you generally learn the majority of stuff, or, it's like the most useful the first time you usurp a planet from far off. I really wouldn't know. But let's pretend that's true, because that would make my whole hypothesis about the way the KSP system works make more sense. And as you can see here, I've started I'm making an effort to try and learn how to actually use the nav ball and not need maneuver nodes to adjust orbits and things like that, but I'm not perfect at it, and there's always room to improve. I'm nowhere near the level of depthness and knowledge of the nav ball for changing orbits though that Hawk Gaming does. And as you can see, panning around at 4 times speed is not exactly the funnest thing to watch, but you'll just have to put up with that, because I wanted to get this video out, so I did not take the time to actually edit out the footage. Although, like I said, it does add more of an element of realism as you get to see the whole thing. So I believe this is the time when I fell over after I landed, but we'll see that in a moment. And that's probably just because I didn't want to orbit a bunch of times at low altitude or waste fuel burning up to a higher altitude, although my fuel budget was quite large for this mission. It has more fuel than my moon lander, because going to the moon and back takes more delta V than Minmus, so I could have just used my moon lander and had an even larger margin, because I did come back with some fuel on that, but I felt like building a better rocket. And although I did not record the building process, because that would have made this video at least twice as long, as I tend to not be very fast when building my ships, and I also usually watch YouTube videos or Netflix shows on Netflix while I do it, so that also slows me down because I'll pause and things like that, so it doesn't make for the most interesting footage. And you see, here is the problem. Now, the remarkable thing is that it's not moving fast enough for anything to get damaged, and the problem actually comes when I try to straighten it and fire off the engines. It then spirals out of control and explodes. I think somewhere around here. Yeah. And we get that. And I reloaded. I don't know if it would have died or not. I assume so, because stuff was exploding, but we start over here, and I do choose a slightly different landing spot that I thought would be a bit flatter, and also a better way of landing, which is the way I originally started doing them after my first or second moon landing, back in, like I said, over a year ago, because I did play KSP the most when I first got it, as I had nothing else to distract me at that time. But that's, again, not exactly pertaining to the video, but I like, although it's not the most efficient, just actually canceling out your lateral velocity, because I don't like having to go through the effort of trying to swivel around a bunch when you're right above the ground, canceling out velocity. So it's a lot easier to try and get rid of as much as you can before, even if it is less efficient, and then try and go for a bit of a suicide burn once you get down there. Yeah, I believe it would be less efficient because, yeah, I don't think it's, yeah, because you're canceling pretty much all your orbital velocity there, so you drop like a stone, so then you have to recancel that as you fall, so it's definitely not the most efficient. Most efficient would be an extremely low periaps and then suicide burning, and landing like that, but I do not have the precision to do that, only a computer does. Or at least, yeah, I don't think anyone could do that really successfully. Yeah, it's not really much of a point, but yeah, so here I have writing stuff. I'm trying to remember what I said. I think I said 4 times the charm. I thought that's what I said. No, that was my moon landing. Yeah, I had not been to the moon in a while. I don't know what that said. You guys can know. Oh yeah, it's not pudding, that's what I said. Because there are illusions, although I have not noticed this yet. I did learn this from, I believe, Scott Manley. There are a lot of illusions for when you send back crew reports, little messages and stuff, although I guess I just didn't take that to read them, that allude to the fact that the Kerbals believe that Minmus is made of pudding. So I decided to title my flag, "It's Not Pudding." Question mark, exclamation point, no, exclamation point, question mark, I believe, because that is actually a character in Unicode. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a combined exclamation mark, exclamation point, and question mark, and it goes in that order. And it's supposed to symbolize both surprise, or, yeah, really kind of like surprise, you know, because you're questioning something, and you're also, you know, like, emotional. It does make sense, although it's not that easy to put into words, at least I'm not thinking of the right way to do that. But in the meantime, we've returned to Kerbin with plenty of leftover fuel to ease my landing, because I've had problems with parachutes breaking so far, and so I've learned to just try and actually apply some force with the engines so that they don't break when they deploy, and then we have a nice, easy landing here. And that's the end, pretty much. Actually, I believe I go back to, yeah, I do. Okay, so I had to change the narration here just because it went too long, and for some reason I can't extend the end of the video. So I'm sorry about that buzzing noise. I'm not sure what's causing it, although hopefully I fixed it just now by turning off my room fan, but I really don't know, otherwise it's my computer, so I can't solve that. But that's the end of the video. I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.